Have you ever wanted to be happier? Is that like a dumb question? Of course, everybody wants to be happier. Today, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about kind of what is happiness and how do we get more of it, right? So, check it out. Wow. Hi, I'm Brett, your favorite shrink, and welcome. Welcome back to My Five Minds. This is where we're doing a little bit of a yoga psych, where we're understanding your psychology from the point of view of ancient practices of yoga. Now, today particularly, I want to talk about happiness. Have you ever done anything with positive psychology? Have you ever studied this new science of positive psychology? It's kind of cool, kind of fun. But positive psychology, it takes a different approach than the traditional psychology we think of, because traditional psychology, as we already know, focuses on pathology, where we're looking at depression, anxiety, borderlines, bipolars, alcoholics, addicts, all those kind of negative things. And what we're trying to do is study those things so we can help people that have those illnesses. Well, positive psychology has a different approach. Positive psychology looks at the people that are happy. What are they doing? How is it that they are happy? And we're trying to study them so we can find some of the secrets to teach you. Well, if you've learned anything about positive psychology, what you've seen out of the research is some pretty basic things. Gratitude, forgiveness, service, thinking about others. Those are the basic things that we're pulling out of positive psychology that make people happy. Now, when I read those studies, when I look at that information, I think to myself, duh. Have these people never been to church in their lives? Are you kidding me? These are answers that I have at least, been raised on since I was a little tiny kid. This is the kind of stuff that I heard in church all growing up. You got to forgive one another. You got to forgive yourself. You got to have an attitude of gratitude. You got to praise God every day for all the blessings that you have in your life. You have to think positive. You have to think about good things. Pray about good things. These are things that I've been learning about, that I've known about all my life. So when the research is coming out and saying, this is what you need to do, you need to serve one another, I'm thinking, yeah, really? This is our cutting edge research? Because I've already known all of this stuff. Well, today, and we're talking about positivity, happiness, well-being, all of those things, I want to actually change that. I want to change kind of the basic stuff we already know to something a little bit deeper, something maybe you intuitively get, but I want to really bring clarity on what it is and how to create it. See, in the simplest terms, I think what creates happiness is connection. Let me see if I can explain that a little bit better, because it sounds simple, but it's a little bit more complicated. You've heard me always talk about what emotions are. Emotions are electrical signals from your brain to your body to prepare your body for some kind of action. What are electrical signals? They're waves. They're energy waves that are transmitted from our brain to our body. Those brain waves have certain characteristics that go along with positive and negative feelings. One of the things that go along with positive feelings, and the opposite goes along with negative feelings, is what's called phase. Now, I'm sure all of you guys are well versed in wave theory, not. But what phase is when you have electrical signals coming out of your brain, which are waves, and those electrical signals are well balanced with other electrical signals. The signals are pretty much in sync with each other. That's what we call phase. Those things happen when you are feeling good. When you're out of phase, and the electrical signals through your brain and through your body are not synchronized very well. There's a lot of different signals going a lot of different directions. You're out of phase. And when you're out of phase, you're disconnected. And you're going to be unhappy. That's when you're going to experience those things which I call collapse, when your energy just kind of shuts down. Well, so when I'm talking about connection, is I'm talking about how to get yourself moving as one. Because when you're moving as one within yourself, when you're moving as one with other people, when you're moving as one with whatever activities and events and things you're engaged in, when you're in that synchronized space, you feel happiness. Right? I always like to start with thinking about myself. When my brain is going 1,000,000 miles an hour and it's thinking about 1,000,000 different things, and I'm not even in my body right now because I'm so distracted, I'm not happy. But when I can get in my meditation hall, when I can do some meditations, become mindful of my body, become mindful of this moment, what happens literally, you can see it on an EEG, you can see it on an fMRI, you can see brain waves beginning to synchronize. And when I'm in meditation, that's exactly what's happening, is that my mind and my body are beginning to work as one. The rhythms that are inside of me begin to flow together. Well, that feeling of flow is what feels so good. It's why you feel happy when you're meditating or have meditated. Well, what happens when you're connecting with people? Barbara Fredrickson, who wrote the book Love 2.0, looks at this and she sees the same kind of pattern. When two people are connecting or experiencing a connection, what you'll see is that their brains begin to work as one. This person's brain's responding just like that person's brain. The same parts of this brain that's firing up are the same parts of this person's brain firing up. When we see that synchronizing, that phase setting in, we feel that sense of connection. And you all know from experience that when you're deeply, deeply connected with somebody, you feel good. You feel happy. Now, the same thing can also happen in our environment. That when we're in nature and we allow ourselves to come out of our heads and all the clutter and chatter and busyness that's going on in our head, and we allow ourselves to be in a place of beauty or a place of calm, see the waves at the beach and just kind of enjoy them, maybe even synchronize your breath with the waves. When you create that kind of connection with the environment that you're in, you're going to feel a sense of peace. You're going to feel happiness. Because that is what happiness truly is. When we're happy either within ourselves, with other people, or within our environment, what we're doing is creating connection. Now, there's one other element that I think creates connection that very much plays into our happiness. And that's kind of what we talked about earlier. Our connection to God or higher power, or however we like to imagine that or talk about that. Every religion has its own verbiage and language about that. But so I don't want to offend. I don't want to use the wrong language for you. But when you feel close to God, when you feel like you and your higher power are flowing together, what do you feel? Connected and happy. Right? That is the essence of happiness, is connection. You buying it so far? It's not getting toys, it's not having possessions, it's not money, it's not even having people around you per se. It's feeling connected. It could be one person, it could be 10 people. If you're feeling connected, you're going to feel happy. Let's get to the good stuff. How? How? We want to know that. We all want to know that. It's easy. Well, it's simple. Simple and easy sometimes can be different things. It's simple. The way you want to create connection with anything, the way to connect with anything is love. Now, in my first book, Love-Based Solutions, it's called You Can Be Right or You Can Be Married, Love-Based Solutions. What I'm talking about is how love is attention. Attention connects people. If I give you my full attention, I connect with you. If I am distracted and preoccupied, we're going to disconnect. Well, that connection, that attention, connects you to anything and anybody. When you're fully into a project, there's a great book called Flow. And it doesn't talk about flow the way I talk quite about flow, but it's about a sense of happiness, how people find that sense of happiness when they find flow. And what Check High, Sent Me High, writes about is that when you're into something and you're really, 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 really into it, and you lose time and you lose just everything else in the periphery, because all you're focusing on is that, you're going to create a sense of flow. And that flow has a credible sense of peace and happiness to it. What are you doing? You're giving attention. You're giving your absolute and complete attention. And when you do give your complete attention to a task or project, that's when you create flow. That's when you create happiness. Attention's the key. You know what mindfulness is? You ever done mindfulness? It's giving attention. It's giving attention to this moment. And as you give attention to this moment, to your breath, to the sounds around you, to even your thoughts, when you just open your attention with no judgment, no criticism, when you open your attention to things, you connect. You connect with the moment, you connect with yourself. So, if you want to be happy, you got to have connection. And if you want to create connection, attention. Attention is the key. We live in a world of split attention. Attention going everywhere, phones, TVs, screens, everywhere. And that divides you. That divided mind is going to disconnect you. If you want to connect with somebody, stop. Give them your full attention. Focus on them. Take your mind off of you and your chatter and focus on them. If you want to connect with what you're doing, the same. If you want to connect with yourself, the same. Give yourself full attention. And best, if you want to connect to God, to your high power, it's a simple matter. What is it? Attention. Give your full attention. Because the attention is what creates synchronization, which creates phase, which creates connection. Thanks again for watching. If you want to learn more, go to my website, brettrwilliams.com. There I got some online courses for you, as well as books and resources, like You Can Be Right or You Can Be Married. That's where you're going to find it. Thank you so much for letting me give you some attention and connect with you.